See the sulci and gyri which are in relation to the medial surface of the cerebrum. So this is your frontal pole, which is rounded one. This is occipital pole, the triangular as well as the pointed one. This is your corpus callosum. This is your rostral part. This angle is your genu part. This is the body of the corpus callosum, and this rounded thick part is your splenium of the corpus callosum, and this is your parieto-occipital sulcus. So by this you can see this is the anterior end and this is the posterior end, and this the medial surface of the your cerebrum. So which are the sulci and gyri which lies in relation to this? So first we will see this sulcus which is extending in front of the your this corpus callosum, and if you trace it backward, it goes backward in this way, and then it gets the upward turn. So this sulcus is known as your cingulate sulcus. Now this is corpus callosum. Above the corpus callosum, this sulcus is known as your callosal sulcus. So between this callosal sulcus and this cingulate sulcus, the gyrus which lies is known as the cingulate gyrus. So this hole is your cingulate gyrus. The gyrus which lies in front, above it, between the supromedial border as well as this cingulate sulcus, this is your known as the medial frontal gyrus, as it lies in relation to the frontal lobe. This is frontal lobe, so it lies in relation to the frontal lobe. It is known as median frontal gyrus. Now if you see over here, this upward turn of the cingulate gyrus is there, and in front of this is your central sulcus. So this is your central sulcus which comes to lie over on this medial area, and this is the upward turn of your cingulate sulcus. So these areas which surrounds this area in front of this cingulate sulcus and in relation to this central sulcus is known as your paracentral lobule. So this area is known as paracentral lobule. Further, if you see, this is the splenium. Above the splenium over here, there is another sulcus known as suprasplenial sulcus. So this is your suprasplenial sulcus. Another sulcus which you are able to see, this is, we have already mentioned, this is parieto-occipital sulcus because it limits the occipital as well as the parietal lobe over here. So it is known as parieto-occipital sulcus, and it extends on the supralateral surface also. If you trace it backward, this portion, this sulcus hole is known as your calcarine sulcus. So this is calcarine sulcus, and this region which extends up to the occipital pole is sometimes known as the post-calcarine sulcus, or you can label it this hole as a calcarine sulcus. So the part of this area of the parietal lobe on the medial surface between this upward turn of cingulate sulcus and this parieto-occipital sulcus, this quadrangular area which lies above the suprasplenial region is known as the precuneus, while the part of this triangular wedge-shaped area which lies between this parieto-occipital sulcus as well as this your calcarine sulcus is known as the cuneus. So this is cuneus, this is precuneus, and this is paracentral lobule. This is callosal gyrus, this is your cingulate gyrus, this is cingulate sulcus, and this is your medial frontal gyrus. So now we'll see the gyrus and recti which are sulcus which are there on the inferior surface of the cerebrum. So this is the inferior surface of the cerebrum, which is further divided into this orbital surface, and this is your tentorial surface. So the orbital surface, if you see, this is the orbital surface, this is frontal pole, this is your superciliary border, and this is your medial orbital border. As we have seen, this is your olfactory nerve, this is your olfactory bulb, and this is the olfactory tract. And if you trace it further, it divides into the medial and lateral olfactory stria, and this portion is your anterior perforated substance, and this is the part of the optic chiasma which lies in relation to this. Okay, so these are the structures which are in relation to the interpeduncular fossa. Now if you remove this olfactory bulb and tract, this sulcus which lies below is known as the olfactory sulcus. This is olfactory sulcus which is there on the orbital surface. Another sulcus which is there in the form of H shape, this one. This is the cruciate, or you can say the H-shaped sulcus is there. So there are two sulcus, the olfactory sulcus and this H-shaped sulcus. The part of the brain which cerebrum which lies medial to this olfactory sulcus, this straight gyrus is known as gyrus rectus. So this is known as gyrus rectus, while this H-shaped sulcus will divide the rest of the orbital surface into the anterior, posterior, medial and lateral four orbital gyrus. So these are the anterior, posterior, medial and lateral 4 orbital gyrus which lies in relation to this H-shaped sulcus. So this is in relation what is known as the orbital surface, gyrus and recta in relation to the orbital surface of the cerebrum. Now we will move to the tentorial surface, or which lies in relation to the inferior part. This is your temporal lobe, this is occipital lobe, and this is the inferior surface that is known as tentorial surface, which lies in relation to the tentorium cerebelli. This region is the part from where we have cut the midbrain. This is your midbrain portion. This is red nucleus, substantia nigra, and the crus cerebri part. So this is the cerebrum and inferior surface, that is your tentorial surface. Now which are the sulci and gyri in relation to this? So two constant sulci are there. The one which extends from the frontal pole and from the temporal pole and it inferior surface, and it extends backward. This one is known as temporo or occipital, or you can say the occipito-temporal sulcus. This is occipito-temporal sulcus. Further medial if you go, there is another sulcus which is there. It is also a continuous deep sulcus. This is known as the collateral sulcus, which is collateral to this, so it is known as collateral sulcus. So these are the two main sulcus which are known as, this is occipito-temporal sulcus and the collateral sulcus. If you trace it collateral further, there is another this sulcus, it is known as the rhinal sulcus. This is known as the rhinal sulcus. So which are the gyri which lies in relation to this? This is, as I have told you, this is your occipito-temporal sulcus. So the gyrus which lies lateral to it is known as the lateral occipito-temporal gyrus, and one lies medial to it is known as the medial occipito-temporal gyrus. And the gyrus which lies in relation, this further medial to this your collateral sulcus, this is your parahippocampal gyrus. So this is your parahippocampal gyrus. Now the anterior most portion of this parahippocampal gyrus is like you can see this gyrus looks like a seahorse, and this is its anterior most portion is known as the uncus. This portion is known as uncus, and it is separated from rest of the temporal lobe by the rhinal sulcus. This is your rhinal sulcus. Now if you trace further collateral sulcus backward, it reaches up to the occipital pole, and it forms internally the flow it lies in the inferior horn, lateral ventricle. Similarly over here we have seen this is your calcarine sulcus, and this calcarine sulcus also lies in relation to the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. So between these two, calcarine sulcus and this collateral sulcus, the gyrus which lies in between these two, it's a tongue-shaped gyrus, and that's why it is known as the lingular gyrus. So this is how the structures which are, or the gyrus are there on the inferior surface of the cerebrum.